To all those above me that watch over me, to all of you, my fave pair of peeps on this side of the veil, welcome. I'm Sean Whittington. I'm a seminarian in the United States Old Catholic Church, and this is the Paranormal Ministry. And I'm coming to you live from my haunted house, my very haunted house, where I live. We got a great show today, and you all know that. That's why you're here. Nobody tunes in for me. You tune in for my guests, and I love these two. I respect these two, and I got to try to get them on more. You know how it is. Life happens, and you just but I'm so happy that they're here. And they're in the green room. I'll bring them right out ASAP. Let's check the prayer urn. Ann M. from California. Hi, Am. I really struggle with turning the other cheek, forgiving and forgetting, and praying for my enemies. I hear you. You're preaching to the choir. I think we all have that issue, Ann. Got a prayer for that? You know what? I do have a prayer for that, Ann. And you know, I get people that reach out to me for that reason all the time. You know, let me tell you something. It starts with words. A pastor once told me words can bring life or words can bring death. You just got to watch what you say and try to thicken your skin up a little bit. You know, who cares what anybody thinks or says to you or what's going on, you know. The more you work on it, the better. And you can forgiving, holding on to anger is like, and you've probably heard this before, drinking poison and hoping the other person dies. You got to release the anger. Forgive. You don't necessarily have to forget, but forgiveness is big. And we're going to work on that together. But I got a wonderful prayer for that over here, I believe. Yes, let's try this one. This is a good one. Okay. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen. I offer this prayer up for Anne. Everlasting God, your peace surpasses all my understanding. When anger rises within me, please calm my mind and soothe my heart with your gentle words. Fill my whole life with your perfect peace. May my personality be shaped by your peace rather than my frustration. With your Holy Spirit in my life, I can overcome anger. May I reflect your character, being slow to anger and rich in steadfast love. Look upon me and cause your face to shine upon me. Through Jesus Christ our Lord, amen. Okay, yeah, I offer that prayer up for everybody. Anger, guys, it's off the charts nowadays. So let's check the ministry mailbag here. Oh, there's two in here. Oh, they're both good ones. Which one do I pick? Let's pick the first one. Betty A from Indiana. What do you think a poltergeist is? Well, poltergeist means noisy ghost, and I wish they would just use that term for a noisy ghost, which ghosts can sometimes be noisy. I never got into why they attached that label to some type of entity or psychic kineticism, being able to move objects, throw them around. If the haunt is violent, it's a malevolent entity. I don't know enough about telekinesis to know about, the theory behind an adolescent in the home, whether it be male or female, going into puberty. They have the power of telekinesis, but they don't know it. But this puberty brings that on, and they're lashing out psychically and making this phenomena happen. Maybe that's true, but why call it a poltergeist? So poltergeist is just a noisy ghost. I believe in that. But violent, when things start getting violent, that's malevolence. So there you go.
Hey, Sean, let me ask you a real quick question. I know that we got to get moving with the show, but I've got a question for you. How come everybody has their own definition for what a poltergeist is? you see the other Z, not this one, talking about demons all the time, demons coming, um, but some people would just call that a spirit. Why is there not a definition like set in stone for some of these things, like poltergeist, like demon, like just apparition or spirit? Why is there so much vagueness in that, do you think?
Well, there are definitions, but now they've all just been thrown in one big pot, stirred around, and so many of these people, like people whose names we won't mention, just use them. Matter of factly, just use them for all kinds of different situations. But poltergeist means noisy ghost. But when people talk about in the field poltergeist, they're pertaining to that phenomena of things being thrown around and moved around, um, as being a poltergeist.
Yeah.
But it's been my experience that that can just be a ghost. Ghosts can move things, they can make noises. But when it gets violent, people get scratched, bit, punched, pushed downstairs, objects get thrown, but thrown at people. When the haunts get violent, it's been my experience that it's demonic. So they should call it that. And if a ghost is noisy, call it a noisy ghost or call it a poltergeist. But the phenomena of telekinesis brought on by a teenager who can't handle going into puberty, and he's got the gift of telekinesis but don't know it, and he's lashing out psychically and making this phenomena happen. Let's come up with a different name for that. I don't have a name for it. Maybe somebody does, I just don't know. But come up with a different name for that than poltergeist. But right now they label that a poltergeist haunt, so it is what it is. But
I
yeah.
call it yes, dear.
Yeah. Oh man. Billy B from Texas. I know your second book. Oh my gosh, guys. I had to get online last night. I forgot to put book one, book two on my website. So people have been buying book two, but a lot of people bought book one. And it doesn't say when I get the PayPal thing which book it is. So I'm going crazy calling people back. Hi, which book did you buy? So I had to go in there late last night, contact Vistaprint and get one of their texts to put book one, book two in the description so I would know. But anyway, I know your second book came out Memorial Day. I bought your first book off the website. It arrived, but I don't know how to use any of the items in the house blessing kit. Instructions? I should probably I should probably put instructions in the house blessing kit because not everybody knows how to use this stuff, but I'm going to start doing that. But what's in there is pretty self-explanatory. There's Palo Santo wood in there. There's sage. There's blessed salt. There's holy water. There's a blessed metal. Um, there you go. The salt is to sprinkle on yourself or on the inside windowsills and on the ground at every door leading outside. The holy water is to put on your thumb, touch your wall, and make a cross and bless yourself with it. There's not that much, so use it sparingly. The Palo Santo wood, you light it, let the flame burn for a little bit, then blow it out, and it'll start to smoke. Go through the whole house with that. The sage, same thing, light it, much
Isn't
bigger
that called
flame.
like smudging with that
Yes,
wood, that Palo Santo wood? Isn't that called smudging?
absolutely. And so is the
Okay.
sage part. But light the sage, big flame, blow it out, lots of smoke, get that everywhere. Now, a lot of people will argue smudging, saging, what have you, is also for conjuring, and it can be. So you always want to make sure when you go through the house, you're saying prayers. You know, I command any unclean spirits that inhabit this residence to leave now and go to the foot of the cross for Christ to deal with you. You are not welcome here. I command you to leave. That type of stuff when you're doing this Palo Santo and the sage. Um, and the blessed metal. If you don't want to wear it, that's what religious gifts are for, to pass on to somebody else that you know might need that. It's a miraculous metal in those kits, and they're from the Vatican and they've been blessed by the Pope, so very powerful. In my humble opinion, the miraculous metal is the most powerful metal you can wear for protection against the demonic. So there you go. I should put some instructions in my kits. I will start doing that. Okay. Um, I love these two. I already told you guys that. So without further ado, world-renowned spirit channels, husband and wife, lovebird spirit channelers. Um, world-renowned, critically acclaimed authors. He's written a ton of books. They're just so cool. He's got his own show, a couple of shows, 2 or 3 shows. I'll have him talk to all of us about that. But I know they're probably got some really great messages for us today. So without further ado, please give a big, warm paranormal ministry family welcome to the one and only Barry and Connie Strom.
I expected to see somebody else pop up.
Thank you, Sean. You're so kind.
You know what? Did you guys see the picture I used of you two to promote your appearance today?
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that photo. And why didn't you guys tell me you were stars in Yellowstone?
We didn't know that.
I look at the picture and I always think they're on the set of Yellowstone. I love that. I love that photo. That is just a great photo of you two. Is that in Utah where you're at now?
Yes.
Yes, it's in a place called 9 Mile Canyon.
Let me tell you guys something. As a friend, and I mean this with all due respect, you know I love you both. That your faces reflect such peace in that photo. And I'm not saying I never saw that look on your faces when you were in Pennsylvania running a haunted antique store near Gettysburg and all that stuff. I'm not saying I never saw that in any older pictures of you, but really in that picture, I think the move to Utah, where you guys are at now, was good for the soul. And would you like to elaborate on that?
That's exactly the way it is. When we're in the high country, I just feel God all around me. I mean, he's with me all the time, and he's with you all the time, and with all of our listeners. But just the beauty out here and the peace that it brings to the soul is just incredible. It's my thing for out the West is this is as close as you're going to get to heaven without dying. I love it.
We could have a little less snow.
We could use a little more. We're in under such extreme. You should see my front yard is so embarrassing because you can't water here. Even in you can water 6 days a week, but they say 5 minutes at a time. When it's 115 degrees out here for 8 weeks straight in the middle of the summer, your lawn can't survive. And if you get big fines, if you water too much, all my trees have died, all my shrubs have died. I got no more grass. It's just a dirt lot. It's embarrassing, but it is what it is. We're under extreme drought conditions. We could use some of that snow here for sure.
We really had it. We had we had almost 7 foot of snow on our back deck this year, and I lost all of our bushes. We had a herd of elk come in, and they ate our yew bushes, pulled them up out of the ground. So we've been replanting. It's things a little different here.
A little bit. Yeah. I love wildlife. I'm not big on camping. My wife loves to camp. I'm not a big on camping, or I'd go squatching more. But I would love to. I can't get her to retire. I'm semi-retired, if you want to call it that. But
yeah, right.
I would like. I would like to move someplace like where you guys are at. But the thing is Sharon hates the cold. It's like we have relatives in Scotland. I'd love to go and pull a trailer up outside an old family castle and live there. She couldn't handle the cold, so
yeah, it was 40 here last night.
Wow.
Our summer is going to be like 3 days if it ever comes.
What do I want to tell you guys? Guess what? I'm going to embarrass you guys today.
It'll be the first time.
Because the last time you guys were on, I talked about this beautiful gift you guys sent me, and then I didn't show it. And then afterwards, I got all these messages. Why didn't you show the gift? So I'm going to show the gift. I pulled it down off my wall of I don't know what you'd call it, the wall of fame, Jesus's wall of fame in my living room. And this is a color etching of David and Goliath from a 1620 Martin Luther Bible. And I'm going to try to get everybody to see a good photo of this.
That's pretty clear.
It's got the little plaque at the bottom, and there's the etching. Is that the most beautiful thing you guys have ever seen? I love, love, love that. And let me tell you something about David and Goliath. I totally relate to that story. I relate to a lot of stories in the Bible, but I really relate to that story. And you know what's funny, when I talk to people about that, without you even really realize it, how many times do we go through life and we find ourselves in David and Goliath type situations? And you don't have to actually be getting ready to have a fight with somebody bigger than you. The Goliath could be, trying to get a job, or
trying to get people to believe in God. We go through this every hour of every day. So it's
I know you two that wants to ask this question. You guys have channeled, you name it, you guys have channeled that particular person's energy. Have you ever, forgive me for not knowing this, have you ever channeled King David or Goliath?
We did King David, yeah.
Did you really? How?
Yeah, no, we did David. We've done well, we're up to just about 465 videos on our YouTube channel. And each one of those represents pretty much a different channeling. So we're in the phase. Well, we're doing 4 shows a week now. So now we're at the stage that we have a lot of repeats.
You guys are, I don't even think amazing is an adequate description of the two of you. So what I'm going to do now, before I forget, and I'll probably cut you guys out of here a little bit early today because there's something I want to do at the end of the show that.
No, we understand.
We totally support that, Sean.
I want, before if Spirit is talking to you right now to give us a message, we'll go to that. But I was going to ask you guys, and I just totally, so many things are rushing through my head right now, ideas and people trying to talk to me and stuff. Before I forget, please tell everybody about where they can get your books, and then tell everybody about, I believe you have 3 shows now, and I get people all the time reach out to me and go, do you know who Barry and Connie Strom are? You should check out their show yet. I go, I know them very well. Thank you. So please tell everybody about the shows, how they can watch you, listen to you guys, see you, and where they can go and get your books, because you've got some of the most amazing books out there for people that really need the kind of messages that you put out there, especially now.
Oh, what's going on now is just, it's mind-boggling. When all you got to do is listen to the news, and we know why God sent you and Connie and myself and a bunch of other people back, because it's just a terrible time. I mean, it's the only way you can describe it. We had an interesting, on Wednesday mornings, I channel a live message from Jesus. We've been doing it. I think we did our 122nd message from him. And I took the first 60 messages that we did and we put it into book form. And it's called Messages of God for a Modern World. All the books we have are up on YouTube. We have a website, barrystrom.com. You can get them all there. The last book that I got up is Channeling the Prophet Muhammad. Because we spend a lot of time talking about the fact that we're all one. All religions are one. There's one God. You can refer to him any way you want, Allah, Spirit, whatever. But we have a single supreme deity, and he sent people back through the years to start these religions. Religions are tailored to the different geographic areas, different types of belief people had. But just when you just look at things now, it's staggering. We just have so much to do in so little time. And Hopefully people come around. But Wednesday morning, he was talking about how humans have progressed through the years. And basically what it comes down to is they haven't. Look at the brutalities. I mean, you had the Romans, brutal. You have the Russians today, about as brutal as you can get. You have hundreds of thousands of people being displaced, hurt, killed, murdered. There just simply isn't much that happens. That changes through the years. But we got to keep trying. And that's pretty much what the three of us have decided to do, is keep trying to convert people to believe in God.
Basically, to open their minds, open their hearts.
It's hard.
God's got one simple rule. It's the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And if everybody on this planet did that, this would be a wonderful place to live.
Yeah, I think I forgot to say that in the beginning to that young lady. And that's a good point, Connie, is like just try to be the best version of yourself every day. Try to be a better version of yourself today than you were the day before.
Mm-hmm.
And treat others as you would like people to treat you. It's pretty simple.
That's
but
that's it. That's the key to everything. If everybody did that, one generation, we'd be out of the, we'd be back on track. But sadly,
I do have some questions for you guys. I know you guys were wondering, but these aren't my questions, because soon, like I've said this a million times, but my show has taken on a life of its own. When I start promoting who's going to be on a show on a Monday or a Friday, fans and followers of those people start sending me in questions. Oh, if you get a chance, because everybody knows that I'm terrible at looking at the chat room and taking questions, because I get into my interviews and it is what it is. But people, so they send me questions. If you get a chance, would you ask them this? Would you ask them that? So real quick before I start asking you questions, let everybody know the names of these shows of yours and when they can watch you. And then if you have somebody that's waiting in the wings, I hate to keep Spirit waiting. If you have somebody in the wings, wings, that wants to say something to all of us, you've got the floor whenever you need that, Barry.
Okay. Sunday mornings, we do a show called Sunday Sermon, and we have a spirit give the sermon every morning. We've been working with a lot of archangels, because the book I'm finishing up right now is channeling the archangels. So we're using a lot of the messages that we get from them. Wednesday mornings, we do a weekly message from Jesus. Sunday nights, we do our Channeling History radio show on Para X. And then Tuesday mornings on Voice America Variety Network, we're doing Spirit Speak, Exploring the Afterlife. So those are the 4 little projects we got going right now.
You guys, pretty amazing. Your shows are amazing. And everybody that I talk to that is a regular fan and followers of yours loves your shows, loves you guys. So keep up the good work. You guys are just really special. I'm honored and feel blessed to not only know you two, but consider you two friends.
How'd you hear a couple words from Archangel Gabriel? Hello, everyone. I'm glad Barry has asked me to speak. I was listening to the topic of anger a little earlier as I was hearing what was the words that were being spoken. Anger is one of the most terrible things that a human can hold within them. Anger will defeat your soul. Anger will lead you down the wrong path. Would you like to have anger shown to yourself? I think the answer is probably no. Well then, why would you ever show anger to others? Because it will be returned. When anger is returned, it just sets off a chain reaction. When a husband and wife show anger in front of their child, that child learns that anger and they think it may be all right. So that child then goes to a friend, shows anger towards him. His friend may show anger back. It may be that groups of children join sides. Great violence can come out of it. Hatred. Hatred and anger are brothers. If you have hatred, you will show anger. If you have anger, you'll show hatred. The key is you should show love. It is only through love that individuals can learn, can get along. If everyone showed love, there would be no anger or hatred, would there? Think about what you would want done to you. If you enjoy hatred and anger being shown to you, then you will find that you have made terrible choices. It is only through the showing of love that you can defeat the spiral of hatred. It is only through love that you can learn, and it is only through love that you will find how to advance as you return home. So thank you for allowing me to have these few words. When I heard Reverend Sean speak of it, I thought that I might be able to add a small tidbit to what he was saying. So God bless all of you, and thank you for allowing me to speak.
Thank you, Gabriel.
That was beautiful. In your travels, your angelic psychic travels, if you bump into St. Michael, give him a big hug and thank him for me. He's been there more times than I can count on both hands and pulled me back from going too far wherever it was I was headed. And so I owe him a big solid.
The Archangel Michael is an incredible spirit. We did, I had him on Sunday sermon on Memorial Day, and he gave us a message that is just, I used it in the whole first segment on the Voice America show this week. I just simply played it, but it is an incredible message for Memorial Day. He spoke of how members of the military are judged for taking lives. And they are actually protected because they're protecting the innocent. So there is no harsh judgment for members of the military, peacemakers, police, whatever, that are protecting the innocent. It's only when they get out of the bounds of protecting the innocent that we see different judgments for them. But we have it up on the YouTube channel. But I would highly recommend, if anybody has a few moments, to listen to what Archangel Michael had to say. It was wonderful.
We talk about, you'd mentioned it earlier in the show, and I'm thinking of an old phrase, as much as things change, they stay the same. Things really haven't changed. Things have stayed the same in terms of a lot of the bad things about us. It's just a really, really weird time right now. I'm thinking of a lot of people reach out to me having issues thinking it's end of days. A lot of people reach out to me still scared to death. You go back to Orson Welles and War of the Worlds. People are still freaked out about the UAPs and the aliens, and the invading Martians are coming, and then they're gonna they're going to destroy us, yada, yada, yada. I find it interesting that the Vatican now has a class that priests are having to take about how to handle first contact with alien species, extraterrestrials. So there's something. They know something.
Oh yeah. No, first contact is that was 200 years ago, you know. It's
Now, God has told us that he created us and he is not going to demolish us. However, evil taking over people in power on this planet can make our planet end. They can totally get rid of humans.
Yeah, we just
God's not going to do it. He loves us.
On I got my shows mixed up, but we just did segments on Roswell incident, and I actually channeled with one of the aliens that died on the ship. That was really weird.
What do you think? There's no wrong answer here, and you both. When I throw questions out at you, you know it's for both of you. So either one of you can, or both of you can answer and talk. But what do you think about all of this that's going on? Do you think they've always been here, and just now where they're allowing themselves to be seen and us to know a little bit more about them? They're kind of getting us ready for something, or are they just now arriving? Or what do you think? I mean, I remember the time I spent in the Navy. We would sometimes go out to sea for months on end and never see another ship, never see land. And I'm in the radio. I'm in communications in the Radio Shack, so I see a lot of top secret stuff. And I would be the one that would always have to take the message up to the bridge and give to the captain or the XO. I saw a lot of things that they would tell you afterwards. Forget you ever saw that teletype message, but we would get messages from other ships that they just saw this phenomena or they that phenomena, and I myself many times had seen things out there in the middle of the ocean that you couldn't explain. I think there's a lot more going on under the ocean than we even see in our skies or on land. What's your take on all this? I get a lot of people to reach out to me being visited by these angelic beings in the middle of the night. It seems like it's a dream state, but then it turns into something that much more realistic. Of course, some of these visitations are violent and or sexual, and then that's a completely different animal. But some of these angelic beings, I believe they're being visited by angels, and some of them I do believe are being visited by extraterrestrials that have that interdimensional that the ability to travel interdimensionally and psychically connect with people. So I just laid a bunch in your guys' lap.
No problem, buddy, no problem.
Harry can handle it.
I would point out that I wrote a book called Aliens Among Us, Exploring Past and Present, and Spirits Speak of the Universe. Those were two. We channeled an alien for about 3 years, and he gave me all the information that was in those two books. So he gave us a ton of information. He told us that disclosure would start in 2020, which it did. We're in disclosure now. He told us that they have the same soul energies that we do, aliens. And if they didn't, I couldn't channel them because I can only speak to soul energies. But they've been here since the time of the dinosaurs. They've helped the ancients. You're familiar with the Nazca lines in Peru. There are these huge images on the ground. Some of them are half a mile in size. There's no way that you could see these things unless you were in the air. And obviously in 500 AD, they didn't fly too far. They did a lot of the things were done in the shape of aliens. Probably the one that would wake you up the most. In the Nazca lines, there's this huge image of a spider. Now I'm talking about a quarter mile in length. So the alien we were channeling at the time was called Moo. And I asked him, I said, Moo, what's that stand for? And he says, oh, that was the shape of the aliens that were helping them. I said, you got to be kidding me. I said, how tall were these spiders? He said, oh, they stood 6-7 foot, but they were very peaceful. And we asked him, they have base ships all around. I mean, there's tons of stuff going on. They're interdimensional, so we can't see into that dimension. But once you get on the other side, when you pass, you become aware of all these dimensions at once. So you'll realize what's going on then. But I've seen a real honest to God alien. I don't know if I've ever told you the story or not.
I don't think you have.
We were, well, Connie's been abducted. She's a real abductee. We know all the evidence of it from the time we could talk to Moo. But we were back in Pennsylvania, and I was writing the alien books. And I woke up in the middle of the night. She was sound asleep, and I look over, and I see this huge form standing by the side of the bed. And it was a type of reptilian. Stood probably 6.5, 7 foot. And I'm thinking, I got to be dreaming this thing. I cleared my head, and I looked over, and he turns and looks at me and smiles and knocks me out. And that's the end. I wake up the next morning. I'm thinking, did I dream this thing? Did I, what the hell was this thing that I just saw? So I told her, I said, I'm thinking that you might have gone on another trip with another abduction last night, because there's a good chance. But I never mentioned the fact that I saw it smile, because I'm thinking that's really pushing the envelope, even for the two of us. So at that time, we were still working with our friends out in Salt Lake City that taught us board channeling. So I said, I called them, and I said, would you be available for you to channel a message for us this evening? So we got them on Skype that night, and they knew absolutely zero about what had taken place, just that I wanted to ask a couple questions. So I asked for Moo to come through for them out in Salt Lake. So they're saying, okay, he's here. And they had the channeling board. And I said, Moo, did I see an alien last night? And out in Salt Lake City, they give me the message, yes, and did you see him smile at you? Knowing zero. That's pretty good evidence.
Yeah.
So I've seen a real one. She's been abducted. So there's no question about alien presence. I mean, we can.
Well, I saw a wonderful, and I never knew this story. Where have I been? But I see this interview with President Eisenhower's daughter the other day.
Mm-hmm.
The most recent Eisenhower, I think he was a general also before he went into politics.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And she talked about, how busy a president is, except for our current president who stays in the basement. But
Right.
mostly presidents from sunup to sundown, 7 days a week, are always doing something, meetings, traveling, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was like that also, but he'd gone to Palm Springs, I believe it was, for some type of big meeting or convention or something. And then, everybody knows where he's at 24/7, but he disappears for like 12 hours in the desert out there after one of these meetings. And then he just, wouldn't talk about, the press kept pushing him for, where have you been? We're supposed to know where you're at, and they were tight-lipped about it. But apparently, he shared with her what had happened, and they had already had a prearranged meeting with these aliens that he attended and met and negotiated and talked with these aliens who were here to warn our race against our warring ways.
Mm-hmm.
That the only way to prevent our obliteration, and they've already seen it, which makes you wonder, can they see into the future, or Is there time travel? Or, what? I mean, it brings up a lot of other questions, but they're saying that if we don't change our warring ways and we keep on the path that we're on, we will destroy ourselves. And they were concerned about that because they say the snowball effect of that affects many, many other races, some that are here in visitation and many that are outside of our world would be affected by that too. That's pretty mind blowing.
Oh yeah,
And it's totally true.
it's totally true. No, it's we got to get control of it. It's plain and simple.
What do you think about? There has to be some that are up to no good. Do you ever run into or channel or get visited by some that you think are up to no good?
They're very closely controlled. Moo told us that each of them actually carry a device that their commanders can read what's in their minds and what they're going to do. That our governments had agreements with them for hundreds of years. I think we asked him what the first president that had alien contact was, and he said our 10th president. So, I mean, we've been working with them for so many years. It's how we got the technology for MRIs, the atomic bomb. They helped us with that.
The cure for polio.
Yeah, they helped work with Dr. Salk. We channeled with him, and he said, "Yeah, I had some extra help on it." So it's.
What do you think about? I know this is a weird question. You probably didn't expect me to ask you this question, but what do you think about the? And this has been going on forever. The cattle mutilation stuff.
The what?
The cattle mutilations.
Oh, that's they're testing. When we asked him about it, he said, "We're trying to see how many ways humans are trying to kill themselves."
Wow.
He said, but by doing those tests, they try to anticipate how they can help future development and see just what we're doing to harm ourselves. But that's what that is.
Are you ready for another weird question?
That's why we're here, Sean.
I don't even know why I'm asking you these.
Who else can answer all these questions?
Because I know you have connections. Here's a weird question.
Okay.
You're in the mountains now. I only ask you this question because I have another friend who is big time skeptic on this topic. And she's, she doesn't let on to how psychically gifted she is, but she's maybe not on your guys' level, but she's pretty psychically, and she moves up to the mountains in Northern California, pretty secluded, and she's a big time extreme hiker. She takes her dogs with her, a couple of pit bulls. And I just a matter of factly, talking to her on the phone one day, asked her, "So, have you seen Bigfoot yet?" And she drops the phone and she picks the phone back up and she goes, "OMG, do I have a story for you?" She goes, "I don't believe in them, or didn't believe in them." And another friend of mine who I've known all my life asked me that very same question during a conversation not too long ago. And it wasn't until she asked me that question that I got hit like by a bolt of lightning, and this suppressed memory came rushing back about me seeing one squatting down by a stream when I was walking my dogs. And it looked at us and it psychically told me, "You don't see me. Your dogs don't see me. You're tired. You need to go home." And her dogs, she said, pit bulls, they would normally go rushing after this thing. They never did nothing. They just looked at it and then they all just went home and they forgot about it. And it wasn't until her friend asked her that question, "Have you seen a Bigfoot?" that memory came back. I believe in Bigfoot big time. I think I had when I was in junior high school and on a camping trip, I think I had an encounter. And I think when I was very, very young, a little friend of mine also had an encounter. 30 years later, I talked to the guy, and we both believe now he did in New Jersey, had an encounter with one as a little kid when he was like almost drowning in a swamp. When I ran for help, this big giant hairy man, that's the story he told me when he was a kid, came down and grabbed him and pulled him out of the swamp. But now we talk later about it and we both believe it was a Sasquatch. What do you think? I mean, this is an off the wall question for you two. What do you think? I think is it extraterrestrial and it's in visitation and that's why we don't always see them?
No,
Is it? I think God created Bigfoot. I think it's a creature of God.
Of course it is. Of course
it just has supernatural nature to it, and that's why
it's interdimensional. First of all, it has the same soul energies we do. About 3 weeks ago, I devoted a show to Bigfoot on Voice America.
Why? Where was I? I missed that show.
I don't know. But I had a friend of mine is a Bigfoot expert out back in Pennsylvania. His name's Eric Altman, and he was good enough to come on the show. And I channeled a Bigfoot, and I let him ask the questions. So
I'm sorry to laugh, but I have a friend another friend who's a psychic and a big squatcher, and she goes out there and psychically communicates with them all the time.
Well, I can talk. I can channel one anytime you want one. They have our same energies. They're just a different form, just the same as aliens are different, but they're interdimensional. They can move between our dimension and the one we can't see. And
I don't blame them for not wanting to have anything to do with us.
You got it. You got it absolutely. But no, they're more intelligent than we are.
They told us why they don't interact with us.
Yeah, no,
because they said humans want to kill them.
Yeah, no, we just did a whole show on Bigfoot about 3 weeks ago.
Where was I? You know,
it's up on YouTube.
Okay, I'm going to find it. So go to your YouTube channel and I can find it there.
Yeah, yeah.
It's about 3 weeks back.
About 3 weeks, yeah.
Okay, what's the title of the show?
Bigfoot.
Okay, well there you go. I have indigenous friends here. I was blessed a couple of times to be invited out to a nearby reservation. One to work at a really bad paranormal case. It stumped their holy people and they couldn't do anything about it. And then the other time I was asked back and they wanted to gift me with an authentic sweat lodge session. And I always tell people I don't lie about I think there was something that I normally don't smoke in that peace pipe being passed around. And I also know that they gave me some peyote. Having said that, speaking of peyote, having said that, I remembered this holy man right before this session started said, we've invited some people to join us. We're not sure if they're gonna join here, but if they come, don't freak out. We've invited the Bigfoot, the Sasquatches, to come and be a part of this session. And then I start to go into I don't know where I went after that, but I remembered that and I was thinking, yeah, as I'm leaving, my body's still there, but as I'm leaving, after he said that, I'm like, yeah, right. But
we could probably arrange it.
They tell me all the time that a lot of these clans, if you will, reside on these Indian reservations where the government can't go, and they're in contact with the indigenous all the time, and they live hand in hand and in close proximity to one another and deal with each other back and forth. I had one indigenous friend say they're the best traders in the world in terms of you give them a bushel full of corn, they give you a rock. He said, you got to be careful trading with them. So, but I love that. And like I said, the encounter that I think I had, I also tell people I had smoked a little pot, not a bunch. I'm in junior high school. Smoked a little, this was probably not even pot. It was probably parsley in a bag. But I smoked a little pot and I had probably 4 beers and it's about 2 a.m. in the morning. And I walk away from this campsite to go to the bathroom out in the woods. And I thought, well, I first thought it was a big tree stump. And then I got this god awful smell. And then the tree stump started rocking and then it stood up and I was frozen. And I did something in my pants that I hadn't done since I was a little kid out of just fear, because I thought it was a bear that was going to kill me. But then this thing just, peace came over me, and this thing just walked off in the darkness. And I always thought, as huge as this thing was, I didn't hear a sound, not a leaf crackle, twig break, nothing. But I was so freaked out. I never told any of my friends. I told a couple of those friends that were with me on the camping trip many, many years later what had happened. But I do believe I've talked to a lot of Bigfoot experts that think that that's what you walked into. He was watching you and your friends up there in the Indian cave, roasting marshmallows and laughing and drinking and partying by the fireside. And
no, they're very friendly. I mean, we've talked to them, but I'm not sure how many times we've really channeled with them. 3, 4, 5.
I'm gonna watch that show. If I was there, I'd give you both a big hug and a kiss. I love you both. I respect that, and I'm not done with you guys. I'm gonna bring you guys back. Try to do it sooner. That you guys are so busy. I sometimes look at you guys and I see how busy you are.
Whenever you have asked, I've always been here for you.
I know you have, but
Friday
sometimes
is one
I
of our
get
days
embarrassed
off.
to reach out because you're so busy. But I'm going to have you guys back on, try a couple of times before the year's over. Because whenever you guys come on and leave, I get all these messages about when are they coming back? Why don't you have them on more often? So anyway, I want you two to know that. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Just 1 second. Stop and think of it. We've gone from Gabriel to aliens to Bigfoot.
We try not to bore you, Sean.
To peyote.
To peyote, to pot, to beer, to. Anyway, I love you both. You know that. I pray for you two often. Thank you so much for spending an hour out of your busy Friday afternoon to hang out with me and the Paranormal Ministry family. And I will be in touch and have you guys back a couple times before the year ends.
Thank you so much, Sean.
Just let us know.
We love you.
I love you guys. I'll see you soon.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye. All right, brothers and sisters, I'm going to do, in the 5 minutes I have left, I'm going to do something a little different here than my usual close, although everybody that I normally say, let me do it real quick. CommunityPayItForward.us. Just go there. USOCC.org. Just go there. Thank you to Things Network. Thank you to Zach and Adrian Clayton. Thank you to BeinspiredRadio.net. Thank you to Temple of Phoenix Rising Entertainment. Thank you to Skeleton Key Network. Thank you to PACT, little P, capital ACT, Podcasting for All Coming Together channel. For all of these networks simulcasting my show. Don't forget Eli Roth presents The Legion of Exorcists, Thursday nights at 10 p.m. on Travel Channel, Discovery Plus, and Max. Just watch it, and then call me and tell me what you thought of the show. Too scary for me to watch. I don't watch it. Okay. I want to give a big shout out to Rowena Gatewood Zink, my mother-in-law, my wife's mother. Just passed away yesterday, 107 years old. Wow. Can you imagine the incredible, she didn't live an incredible life. And can you imagine the incredible things she must have experienced and seen and being on this face of this earth for 107 years? Pretty incredible. So keep my wife in your prayers too, because she's got to travel down there here. We're waiting to find out what's going to happen with the funeral and the reading of the will and yada, yada, yada. And so she's going to have to travel back down there again. Thank God she just went there for the weekend to see her mother on Memorial Day weekend. Got to see her before her mother decided to go be with God. So keep Rowena and my wife in your prayers. But on that note, I want to say what a strong lineage of strong women that my wife comes from. For starters, my wife, 3-time cancer survivor of very rare cancers, survivor of an extreme demonic attack, married me. But she's a descendant of Mary, Queen of Scots. True story. Doesn't get much stronger than that. But you come back down, and they even wrote a book about her grandmother, her mother's mother, Grandma Gatewood's Walk. This is a true story of Emma Gatewood, who holds the record to this day, Guinness Book of World Records, I think, for the oldest woman to ever hike the Appalachian Trail. At the age of 67, she did 800 miles, survived a snake bite, rattlesnake bite, survived 2 hurricanes, survived a run-in with Harlem gangsters, got to the top of, and Barry told me how to pronounce this, to the Mount Katahdin.
Katahdin.
Got to the top of Mount Katahdin, where she sang the first verse.
Thank you, Barry.
Where she sang the first verse of America the Beautiful and proclaimed, I said I'd do it, I did it. So, and now
you know, Sean, and I was talking to you about this, and again, my love to your wife and your entire family, and I think 107 years, that's just amazing. But I told you that on my Audible, that is one of the very first picks when I go through and it has suggested readings. I could never figure out why. It's like, what have I ever read about grandmothers? Okay, I'm sitting there trying to think in my head. I've never, well, obviously not read, but listened to anything about grandmothers. And now come to find out she's, connected with you. How Audible would know this, I don't know.
We're trying to pull you. We're working on it. We're trying to pull you over to our side. It's going to happen one of these days.
Well, I'm having my new aluminum hat fitted into a New Jersey Devil style, so we'll see what that looks like.
There you go.
I do think that is very odd that every night I go to look for a new book to read, and it's always within the top 10 books in my queue of books to read. So now I'm going to have to pick it up, and I'll think of your wife and her family. But I just wanted to really shout out to your, to everything that she went through, and really send our love, and please make sure that your wife knows that we're here if she needs anything.
Thank you, brother. God bless you. Thank you. I remember my wife and I had already been dating for a while. Were we married yet? I don't remember if we were married. No, we probably weren't married yet. So one day my wife says, don't make any plans this weekend. We were going to, other than the plans we already had, we were going to Phoenix to see a Washington Redskin Phoenix Cardinal game. And her mother lived in Phoenix. So she said, we're going to go down early because we're going to go see my mother. And I thought to myself, oh, Sean, you laid the good loving on this woman. Now she wants to introduce you to her mom. So guys, don't lay the good loving on until you absolutely have to. So we go down to Phoenix, and it's the first time meeting her, and I loved her mother. We go out to dinner, and we're sitting there, and she's across from me, and Sharon's to my right, and we're in this booth, and we order food and stuff and all that. Then I go to the restroom, and I come back. And they both are kind of got this weird look on their face. They're not talking. I'm like, I sit down. So we start talking and stuff. It's probably me talking. I blabber way too much. But all of a sudden I hear this noise coming from under the table. And I can't really even see it, but I don't even make an attempt. But I'm like, what the hell is that? Sounds like somebody's got their hands on like a balloon and they're squeezing this balloon. And I'm like, this is really weird. Rowena's not doing anything. Sharon's not reacting. That's really weird. And all of a sudden, Rowena gets this little grin on her face. And from underneath the table, she pulls out and sits in front of me. The most elaborate, beautiful, awesome animal balloon that I'd ever seen in my life. I'm like, did you just make that? She goes, yeah, I made it under the table. Must have blew it up. The balloon up when I was in the bathroom, and then made this animal balloon for me without even seeing under the table while looking at me. She goes, yeah, when I was younger, I graduated clown school. And I toured with some of the biggest circuses in our country for many years. I'm like, you never know what people who've lived on this planet for 170 years, the kind of things they know or they've done in their life. I know I'm a weirdo, but I thought that was the coolest thing. I really thought that was the coolest thing, you know. Now another thing I'm going to blame her for. I think I could be wrong. I think she was at one time a professional candy maker. If she wasn't, she could have been, because even many years after her retirement from home, she would make the most awesome candy of all types you've ever tasted in your life, and she'd send us box loads of it. So I blame Rowena for me putting on an extra 100 pounds since the time I first met my wife. It was all the candy. People don't buy into that story, but it was the candy. Rowena, God bless you. I love you. I'm gonna miss you. Thank you for the candy, but I'm telling you, it was the candy. But she would send us the most awesome, all kinds of candy. Um, just incredible. So anyway, I love you all. Thank you all for spending an hour out of your busy Friday afternoons to listen to me ramble on. Rowena, God bless you. You'll be missed. Um, I love you all. God bless you all. Good night, Danny. Good night, Jack. Good night, Dog. Good night, Harold. Rest in peace. Good night, Ernie. Good night, Bill. Good night, Dan. Peace.